Welcome to How to Fail, the podcast that believes that most failures can teach us something meaningful. Before we get onto the main episode today, I just wanted to remind you of my subscriber podcast, Failing with Friends, where my special guest and I answer listener questions and offer our advice on your failures.
I think clarity and directness in a work environment are the qualities of a great leader. The line in communication with gay men and women is very interesting. It really taught me to buck up.
Do join in by following the link in the podcast notes where you can send me an email, or look out for my monthly call-outs on Instagram for quick-fire questions. When my guest today was inducted into the Hollywood Walk of Fame, he was described as America's gay best friend. It's true that Andy Cohen has befriended many millions of people around the globe, even if they've never actually met him. Whether it's as the unflappable, hilarious host of the Real Housewives reunions, or fronting the high-low pop cultural behemoth Watch What Happens Live, or whether it's as the author of 5 deliciously gossipy New York Times bestselling books, many of us feel not only that we know him, but that we love him and have much to thank him for. Cohen was born in St. Louis, studied broadcast journalism at Boston University, and started out as an intern at CBS News. He became vice president of original programming at Bravo in 2004. 2 years later, he was exec producing the first ever Real Housewives series. In the 20 years since, the Real Housewives has become one of the most culture-shaping franchises on television, and Cohen, a superstar. He once appeared as Zeus in a Lady Gaga music video. New York Magazine recently said Cohen was known for his willingness to go there, an assessment more than borne out by the fact he once got Meryl Streep to play Shag, Marry, Kill, and Ralph Fiennes to perform a dramatic monologue as Real Housewife Lisa Barlow. "I like being provocative," Cohen says. "It makes me feel alive in a weird way. It's dangerous, it's spontaneous. I think it sometimes gets to the heart of who a person is." Andy Cohen, welcome to How to Fail.
Thanks for having me, Elizabeth.
I'm so excited
What a nice
to have
intro.
you. Well, I have so much to thank you for personally.
Oh,
You honestly, I don't know what I would have done without the television that you have created and the presence that you are on screen over the last decade.
that makes me very happy to hear, especially all the way across the pond.
Yes, well, we're delighted to have you in the UK.
Yes.
And you're here because you're attending Hey You Fan Fest.
Yes.
And I am a huge Hey You fan. And I'm looking forward to the festivities. Where does your love of provocation come from, do you think?
I don't know, but it's funny. I think my son has it too. This summer, he did something horribly provocative and then said, "I just did it to get you riled up." And I was like, oh my God, this is exactly what I used to do with your grandmother. So I think the idea of speaking about the thing that is meant to be the thing that you don't speak about, or the thing that everybody is thinking, but maybe is less than polite to discuss, is exactly the thing I want to discuss. And it's almost like I have some weird instinct. I'm like, oh my God, how am I going to bring this up? Like, it works well on television, I have to say.
Do you ever get nervous before bringing the thing up?
Usually I've figured out in my head how I'm going to bring it up, and then I just go for it. I think it just feels exhilarating.
Do you remember loving TV when you were young?
Oh, yes. I was, and anytime I beat myself up thinking, I let Ben watch TV a little too long today, I think, dude, you were just parked in front of the television for most of my childhood. I loved it so much. And I think I wanted to be on it. And I know I wanted to work in it. It was just the thing I was most interested in.
Who was the person that you were most interested in?
Everything felt like a big deal when I was growing up because there were only 3 channels, and everything it was the age where Americans all gathered around their television and they all watched the same shows. So there was a community around television that's obviously there's a community around Housewives. There are so many subgroups now of communities, but there it was truly the era of mass entertainment. Everything, Charlie's Angels, Dynasty, The Brady Bunch, big award shows, Battle of the Network Stars. So just that's what I watched.
You mentioned Housewives there and the sense of community that has grown up around it. And I'm a
Yeah.
proud member of that,
Yes,
proud
thank
and
you.
vociferous member of that
Thank you.
community.
Yes.
No, thank you.
It's a great community.
It really is. It's tolerant.
Yeah.
It's fabulous. I listen to all of the podcasts
Oh,
that
great.
then dissect.
What's your favorite Housewives podcast?
Bitch Sesh.
They're so good.
They're great. Well, I've heard you
I'm
on Bitch
big
Sesh.
fans of theirs.
Yes.
They are great.
And I do love Watch What Crappens. I don't know how you feel about
They're funny. They're great. They're so great.
The name.
They do a very funny impersonation of me. You know, it goes to show how long the Housewives has been going. I remember when these Housewives podcasts started, and I remember hearing about a few of them at the very beginning. And I was territorial. I was like, well, wait, you can't be doing this. And then I was like, dude, they're doing a podcast all about your shows. This is good.
Yeah. Well, and I think one of the things that people often get wrong if they haven't watched Housewives is that they dismiss it as superficial and trivial.
They get everything wrong because they just say it's toxic and they throw wine and it's only about confrontation. And of course, it's about so much more. If it was only about that, it would not still be on the air because that would be cartoonish and black and white. And it just, that's not sustainable. So
what does the term housewife mean to you?
Well, it was always meant as a wink. The show was a wink to the show Desperate Housewives, which was a big hit on ABC scripted show. We were like, okay, well, this is the Real Housewives. And of course, there was not that much real about them because they were early adopters of Botox, breast implants, pieces in the hair. They were augmenting themselves in a quest of youth and beauty. Some of the forerunners of that quest on television. You know, at the time that we started, Botox was not a mass thing, and the Housewives were doing it. So I think that the real term was a wink. And the Housewives term was a wink. I mean, listen, to be a housewife in 2024 is just to be a modern woman. So I think it's turning that up inside itself.
I always feel that Housewives is the first place that I see certain things that it takes much longer to see on scripted TV. So, for instance, dating as a widow. For instance, the reality of IVF. The first place I saw that was Housewives when I was going through it. And so, actually, I find it a revolutionary form of television.
I do too. By the way, I mean, look, I'm a gay man. I've learned so much about women from watching this show. I know more about fibroids because of Cynthia Bailey. But so many of the housewives have had fibroids. Yeah, I'm all ears.
Have you had plastic surgery? Because you often ask housewives.
Look at my face.
Your face is beautiful.
Well, thank you. I've not touched it. I've never even had Botox. Joan Rivers, before she died, used to beg me to get Botox. And every guy that I know who's hosting a TV show, mainly all of them are younger than me or about my age. They all have had Botox. I look at their foreheads. I'm like, your forehead does not move. But I haven't done it yet.
Why?
It's not something that I think I need to do. I don't know who I would be doing it for. I will probably do it soon, maybe. I don't know.
Okay. I don't think you need to, but I was just interested.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because so many of the housewives, I think, feel under pressure to look a certain way.
They all do. Yeah. So many women today and men. I mean, I know so many gay guys. The group of gay guys came over to my house this summer, and I was like, I said to my friend who brought them, I said, this is like botched. I said, this has to stop. I said, your generation, what are you doing to yourselves? Like, you're handsome young men. Stop this.
Yeah.
So I think people need to get a hold of themselves.
So your first failure is your failure with the first Watch What Happened live show that aired on Bravo.
My first time I became in charge of programming. And the idea was there was a show that I mentioned earlier called Battle of the Network Stars that was on in the United States in the 70s and early 80s. And it was once a year. And they would take the biggest stars from each network and would have them compete in kind of very stupid, a relay race or swimming or tug of war. This was before Entertainment Tonight. This is before entertainment media. So you never would see Farrah Fawcett or any of these big stars outside of the shows that they were on, unless Barbara Walters was interviewing them. So it was really cool for me, who loved stars and celebrity and all this. So the idea was Battle of the Network reality stars. And this was now 30 years later. We did it as kind of a kitschy wink to the 70s. And they were wearing similar clothes that they wore. And the idea was that the big stars on TV that in those days were reality stars. We took big stars from all the networks, from Survivor, American Idol, Amazing Race, Project Runway on Bravo, all these shows. We had them compete against each other. Bravo spent a ton of money on marketing, and it was really a bomb. This show really bombed. And I kept saying to my boss, Frances Barrick, who is still my boss at Bravo, she didn't get it. I was like, trust me, this is going to be a huge hit. Now, it was a big bomb. We do a lot of research at Bravo, and we studied why it was a bomb. And what we found out is it was just really off-brand for Bravo. And had it aired on VH1 or E at the time, it would have been a big hit. It was just wrong for Bravo. So that was a really big lesson in programming for your audience and figuring out what your brand is. And we then drilled down for the next few years and figured out exactly what our brand was and how we were programming into our brand. And we did it very successfully. And without that drill, I'm not sure any of the rest of this would have come. But first of all, no failure is a failure because you learn from your failures. That was, I think, the first time I really ever thought to study a failure. And I was so interested because I had been so sure of it. And I've had more television failures. And it's always, usually as a producer, you know what's wrong with the show. It feels good a lot of times to have the research tell you exactly what you already knew. And you're like, okay, well, my brain is correct. And so I'm good.
How were they competing, these stars from disparate
They were
TV?
competing in stupid challenges, like,
Right.
you know, tug of war and you know, like if you would have a field day and you would go do sports at the field day. Yes.
And so what did the research show about what the Bravo audience specifically wanted? How would you describe the Bravo audience?
It said this was not on brand. This seemed like an E show or a VH1 show. It didn't feel like a Bravo show. Bravo at that time had Project Runway, Queer Eye for the Straight Guy. So it didn't feel like a Bravo show. They were right.
And this is before the Real Housewives of OC.
Yeah,
okay. So will you tell us the origin story of the Real Housewives of OC?
Yeah.
So in my past life as a print journalist, I interviewed Scott Dunlop.
Yes.
Who filmed this documentary, as he thought it was, this fly-on-the-wall series about a set of housewives.
It was kind of a mockumentary, the way that he shot it. There was narration, it was a little funny. Scott Dunlop was an ad exec in Orange County. He lived in Coto de Caza, down the street from Vicki Gunvalson, Gina Keogh, and he knew Slade Smiley, and he put them all on tape, and it was a weird tape, but we were really interested. And these women, Vicki was an insurance agent who had a grotto in her backyard, and you know, this woman, Lori, who worked for her, they would get in their bikinis at lunchtime. They were very endowed in the chest and very blonde. They were moms. It was just a different kind of mom we had ever seen. It was a different kind of insurance agent. It was a different way of life. It was sexy and it was shocking and it was aspirational. So I thought, well, if we're going to produce this show about these women, this should be like a soap opera because we would touch down on their personal lives and see them at home being moms and wives and whatever. And then we would see them together. And it was very much at the beginning a fly on the wall. We didn't know what we had. We didn't have that much the first season. We thought about killing the show. But, you know, there were little pieces of intrigue. Kimberly had a little cancer scare. Vicki was an overbearing mom. Lori was dealing with a son with addiction issues. So they all, beneath the surface, they all had some things happening in their lives that were dramatic and interesting and relatable. Yeah, and it was all, we set up these confessionals. So it was interesting. That was an avenue where we could hear them, what they thought of each other. And that was new. So that was how it started.
It's so interesting, the confessional. I've always wondered how long after the actual event that they're talking about are those confessionals
Some are
filmed?
right after. We start shooting confessionals while they're in production. And I have to get the exact number, but I think on average, the women sit for maybe 6 sessions of confessionals. Sometimes they match their clothes and hair, so you don't know that it's a later date that they're being interviewed. We try to shoot them as close as possible to the time because they remember more from what they were feeling and thinking. A lot of times, 6 months later, they have no recollection. I mean, a lot of times it's a meal where they had 2 martinis and they're like, I don't remember. I mean, we're still shooting confessionals for Salt Lake City and the season's airing right now.
What 3 qualities do you think make for an iconic reality TV star?
I can only speak to the stars on Bravo, and they are outspoken / opinionated, aspirational, and funny.
Yeah, you couldn't have a conflict avoidant
No.
reality. No, that wouldn't work.
No, I mean, there are some people who are conflict avoidant, and that's interesting too, because eventually they're going to have to deal with it,
Mm.
you know?
Yeah, it's taught me a lot, Housewives, about being able to trust that a friend that is worth having will be able to withstand you saying how you feel to them.
I agree. I'm really not scared of confrontation anymore. I mean, I don't love it, but one of my mentors at Bravo was very direct, almost painfully direct. But it really taught me to, buck up and get it together and understand the metric for success. Even though I sometimes was emotional about what was being said to me privately, there's a generation of people that don't care for it. But I think it's really the qualities of a great leader: decisiveness, directness, and clarity.
Does that help you when it comes to filming the reunion shows as well?
Yeah, I'm able to boil things down in my head. I'm able to listen to someone and I think in my mind say, listen, they did just apologize to you in that huge word salad.
Yes.
I think listening is the most important skill a broadcaster can have or an interviewer. And so I try to see things that can move the conversation forward based on what's being said. And then also, I really do know now when to cut and run. Like sometimes I'm like, I'm not even trying.
Mm.
Yeah.
Has managing reality TV stars in this way helped you parent more effectively?
I think so. I think that the kids have made me more patient with the women, and the women have made me more patient with the kids.
Mm.
I think both. Yeah.
Before we move on from this failure, I want to talk about Watch What Happens Live.
Okay.
It's just celebrated 15 years.
Yes.
You are the only gay late night TV
True.
host.
Yes. How about that the gay guy is the one that doesn't have the Botox? I
Right.
mean, wait a minute.
There's something awry here.
Right.
But I wonder if I could ask you about how you think your sexuality has played into what you do. Like, what superpower does it give you in this format?
If I was straight and I was asking a lot of the women some of the conversations that we're having about body parts and things like that, I think that I'm able to be a little more anatomical about it because I've not slept with a woman. I don't plan on sleeping with a woman. I think we have a safe space where we can kind of come together and have honest conversations. And so I think that's one thing. And I think the women have felt it with me. I think that there's something safe about me. I mean, look, I love camp. I love fun. I love dark humor. I love pushing the envelope. I think I get away with talking about certain topics because I am gay that Jimmy Fallon wouldn't ever. And also, he's the host of the Tonight Show. He's the host of a mass show. This is supposed to be a fun Watch What Happens Live. And the club of people watching it, it's like, oh, wow. Oh, you watch that show too? That's kind of what it's supposed to be, or that's kind of what it is. And so I think I have an ability to ask Reba McEntire if she's ever tried poppers. And she's like, what? She was on with Troye Sivan. And she's like, what are poppers? Troy's like, I'll explain it to you later. It's just funny. It's just a dialogue that wouldn't happen on another show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have had some extraordinary guests on Watch What Happens Live.
True.
You've had some of your heroes. You've had
Yes.
Cher, you've had Mariah Carey, you've had
Yes.
Oprah.
Yeah.
You haven't yet had Madonna.
No. Hopefully at some point before we wrap it up, she will do it. She called me a troublemaking queen. The problem is that a lot of people have slagged Madonna off on my show. And because of that, it gets picked up. Patti LuPone said something bad about her, and it was picked up worldwide. And so I think she sees me sitting there with the guest, and I'm guilty by association. So I wound up, after she called me a troublemaking queen, we do have each other's numbers. And I texted her and I said, I love you so much. And she said, you have a funny way of showing it. And so I called my booker and I basically had overnight, I had my team put together a comp reel of like 5 minutes of me kissing Madonna's ass on my show, just saying positive things. And I sent it to her and I said, this is the stuff that doesn't get reported on. And I think it landed very positive. She was like, oh my God, that's so nice. Let's keep the positivity going, whatever. So who knows? Maybe she'll do it. If she doesn't, it's fine because she's Madonna. So she can do whatever the hell
But
she
she's been
wants.
to a party in your apartment.
She has.
Yeah.
Listen, I'll take what I can get. I don't care.
I think there's something very beautiful about that, about her showing her vulnerability, that she does actually care
Yeah.
what people say about her. You wouldn't expect
too.
Madonna.
You wouldn't. Yeah.
Now, the other thing that I know from reading your books and that concerns me is that you don't get enough sleep.
I know. Yes, I don't. I got 8 hours last night, though, in London.
Oh, great. Maybe the key is jet lag.
And not having my children here.
Okay.
I mean, when my kids aren't around, my son wakes me up at ungodly hours still. He's 5.5. And so it will happen. It will happen.
But even before you had children...
Oh, well, I mean, I got no sleep for a different reason then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just burning the candle at both ends, like a psycho.
Do you find it difficult to calm down after live TV?
No. I now, as a dad, I don't drink that much when we're live anymore. So my studio is so close. We're often live at 10 o'clock, do the show from 10 to 10:30, do an after show for 6 minutes. I am in the car. I am in bed, makeup off by 10:48.
Mm-hmm.
Lights off at 11 to bed.
Okay.
So
you used to love having a 2-hour massage after.
I know. I did get a massage the night before I left for London.
I love that it's 2 hours. It's so chic.
My guy really goes deep and he's amazing.
Final thing that I want to ask you on this failure is, again, about being gay, that you have had people come up to you saying,
yes,
I watch you with my son, and it led to us having a conversation about his sexual identity that we would never have had before. How much does that mean to you?
Huge. Everything. It means absolutely everything to me. I mean, at this point, it also, someone came up to me yesterday in Marylebone and said,
thank you. Correctly done.
Oh, good. Okay. I was waiting after I
How
said it.
How do you say
like,
the Scottish capital?
Glasgow?
No, a different one. The other one.
Edinburgh.
No, Edinburgh.
Edinburgh.
Yeah.
Edinburgh.
Okay. Anyway, sorry.
Okay, I was close, I think. But someone came up to me and she was like, I've grown up on the Housewives. And I was like, how old are you?
Mm-hmm.
And she said, I think she was 28. So then I did the math and I was like, oh, okay. She really has.
Mm.
So it makes me feel a little old, but it makes me feel very good. And it was John Mayer who said that I'm gay best friend to a lot of people. And when he said that, I almost started crying. It meant so much to me. It was very impactful. And especially since when I was growing up, there were just not a lot of gay people on TV. It was just was nothing to aspire to, trust me.
You mentioned John Mayer. He is a very good friend of yours, as is Anderson Cooper, as is Sarah Jessica Parker. You are renowned for being a friend, not only on screen to so many of us who haven't met you, but in real life. And in one of your books, I think it was the Andy Cohen diaries, you wrote, I use my friends and job to replace a relationship.
Wow, you're on it. Well, I think the thing about it is that the people that I have met and fallen in love with, and I've been in love 2.5 times, I'm going to say, they were people who I very quickly into meeting them was like, ooh, this person is a special person. I want to talk to this person more. I also was physically attracted to that. It was like, so I've known when I've met people, perfect storm, you know. And so I kind of am waiting for that person now to drop on my lap or into my view. And I know that I'm open enough to it. But I think the standard by which I judge people, because I go on dates and I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, I'd rather be at dinner with my friend Jackie, who I've known, who I just spoke to, who's my son's godmother, who I grew up with, who I'm still very close with. I just had tea with a friend that I grew up with in St. Louis we were born 3 days apart from each other, who happens to be here in town. So my friends are all really old friends. And even the group of famous people you mentioned, I've known Anderson 30 years. I've known Sarah Jessica 25 years. I've known Mayer 15 years. So these are people that have really been in my life for a long time. And I think that when I say that I'm replacing my my relationships with them, I think also then I may have been replacing like a family with them. I mean,
Mm.
your friends or your family, whatever. But now that I have kids, I feel so much more grounded in my life and my future. I used to wake up in the middle of the night kind of paranoid about where things were heading because I thought being a talk show host and fame and whatever it is, I was cognizant enough to know that this wasn't enough to go all in on
Mm.
because that's going to go away. And then what?
Your dog Waka, did he prepare you for
He
parenthood?
did actually. I think he really did. He caused me in a very big way to really take myself out of myself. I was Waka was the first I was taking care of him and there's a million ways you have to take care of a dog and you have to get your ass out of bed when you don't want to and you have to figure out caretaking and daycare when you leave town and this and that. So, yeah, for sure he did. Yeah.
Your second failure pertains to parenting,
Yes.
and it's failure to be prepared with one of your children in the playground.
This was just a specific instance where I was at a playground over a weekend with Ben. I think he was probably like 3, and it was unseasonably warm that day. It was like an Indian summer, and it was a birthday party at a playground. And all of a sudden, they turned the water feature on at this playground, and all the moms had changes of clothes for their kids. And so the kids were then suddenly in like swimsuits and running around the water. And Ben didn't have that. And I felt now this was also, I went through a real serious moment early in Ben's life where I was going to these events where with him, with his friends, where I didn't know anybody and I was the only single parent. I was the only gay parent. I was famous. I felt, and I do not carry around insecurity. I felt in those situations very vulnerable, insecure, unprepared, on display, judged. And it was all in my head, by the way. I've gotten over it, thank God. And it was really, and by the way, every parent group that I've been around has all been lovely and whatever. It was really in my head.
Mm.
It was my own insecurities. But at that moment, and I looked at him and I was just like, oh my God, my kid isn't able to be in the water and this was on me and whatever. And I just I think I cried that day. I cried a couple times that day. I just felt lower than low. I felt so alone. I just felt like and I felt very over my head. And I felt like a failure. And what have I done to remedy that? Well, I think I've gotten my head together and I think I've just been in the game longer. And so I just have a confidence about it. And by the way, if I took Lucy to a thing and she didn't have a thing, I'd say, oh, I forgot it. All right. So, but it was a really, it was a really vulnerable moment for me.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
How much of that do you think was internalized social conditioning?
Oh, all of it.
All of it.
Yeah. No one else noticed. It wasn't like anyone was like, oh, wow, Andy, he really, Ben was in the corner crying because he couldn't go in the water. He wasn't, by the way.
Oh,
Ben didn't
Ben didn't.
notice.
Okay.
He did not notice. So I did.
Do you think I tried and failed to have my own children, and I would love to talk to you about surrogacy in a moment.
Yes.
But do you feel that being a parent, so much of it is feeling incompetent and doing it anyway? Still?
I think so. Were you able to be successful? Did you have one
No,
through surrogacy?
I
Or
didn't.
you didn't?
So my husband has 3 children already.
Okay.
And so it wasn't a step that as a couple we felt we wanted to do. Like we
Got
did
it.
egg donation
Okay.
and it didn't work.
Okay.
And then it was just so attritional. I've been at it
Yes.
for 12 years.
Oh,
I'm like,
wow.
it's just too much.
Well, I'm sure your children love you very much.
My stepchildren, they're
Yes.
great. And I know that I have a function in their life, but it's a different relationship.
Well, I think as the years go on, that relationship will be beneficial and hopefully you'll be an island to them in a way that their parents can't.
Thank you for saying
It's
that.
true.
That's so lovely of you.
It's true.
Yeah.
I bet you anything. You're going to wind up becoming like Princess Margaret. And they're going to be like, can I speak to you?
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry, that is the best role model to
Yeah,
aspire
there you
to.
go.
She's the chicest member of the royal
trying
family.
to speak to you.
Surrogacy.
Yes.
Will you just talk to us about how that process was for you?
My best friend, Bruce, who you've read about in all
Yes.
the diaries, there's a generation or there's a group of gay men who were pioneers in my universe 15, 18 years ago who had kids using surrogates. So that was how I became familiar with the process in a very intimate way. And it made it it destigmatized it and I understood it way more than going in cold. And it's incredible to me how many people don't understand this. There are so many people who still say to me, but well, does the mom, whatever, the surrogate is not the mom. What I did to explain it to people is there is an egg donor. I did not know the egg donor.
Did you see a picture?
Yes, I saw many.
It's such a weird system, isn't it?
It's very odd.
It's like online dating almost.
It is, and it's the hardest decision I've ever made in my life and the most important decision I've ever made in my life. And so I chose the egg donor. We did not meet. From that egg and my sperm became an embryo, which then was placed inside the surrogate who acts as kind of an oven, an incubator, a carrier of the child. Surrogates, and I've met many, I helped make surrogacy legal in the state of New York over a period of 2 years. I went to Albany and petitioned, and they have the best surrogacy bill in New York State with a surrogate's bill of rights that has unbelievable protections for surrogates. And there are a lot of very militant feminists who think surrogacy is akin to women selling their body or slavery or something. It's obviously very optional, but it also, for all of the surrogates that I've spoken to, is incredibly rewarding for them. And I had 2 different surrogates with Ben and with Lucy. And they both shared the exact same philosophy. And, I said to both of them in our first meeting, I want to know from you what the moment is going to be like when you hand me the baby that you have just delivered. How is that going to feel for you? Because again, we talk about, let's get to the heart of the matter. Let's talk about the thing that no one wants to talk about. To me, that's the elephant in the room. They both said the same thing. And they said, that's why I'm doing it, so that I can see you hold your child. And I was like, wow, I cried in both instances. It's like, this is who these people are. I mean, they are children of God who are giving the birth, the ultimate gift that can be given. So both were amazing experiences. And Yeah, I can't say enough. I mean, I'll talk about it for hours.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What presents have you got from Housewives
Oh
for your
my God, for the
children?
kids?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Well, Lisa Barlow is such a loon. I saw her this morning in London. She was like, I just bought Ben the most amazing backpack. I'm like, Lisa, stop buying him. She bought Lucy these Gucci sandals, which, by the way, really cut up her feet, which I didn't tell Lisa this summer, but she's wearing them now with socks, and it's perfect. The Housewives threw a very legendary baby
Oh, don't
shower for
worry. I
me.
know.
It kind of broke the internet. And it was the first time ever. It was before BravoCon. It was the first time all the housewives had been in one place together.
It was like the five families in the
It
Godfather
was,
movies.
and it was unsupervised. There weren't cameras there. There weren't any producers. It was like my thing. I loved it. It was so exciting. And it was thrown by five OGs: Nene, Ramona, um, Kyle, Teresa, and
Vicky?
Vicky. And so it was like, it was just incredible. And then the day before, John Mayer says, I want to come to your Housewives baby shower. I go, John, you're not going to know who anybody. I go, this is kind of a work thing for me. He goes, I want to see it. I want to see it. How cool
The coolest.
that John came too. And the women loved it. It was like a little party gift for the women that he was there, but it was really fun. Anyway, there is a list in a booklet of everything they all gave me. The gifts that I got, the baby gifts, when Ben was born: Naomi Campbell, Kelly Ripa, Elton and David, who I barely know. I mean, just incredible. I couldn't believe it. It was very
Wow.
exciting.
Did Madonna send anything?
No.
Just checking.
I remember we had sweet texts. She was really sweet with me about it.
Your final failure is your failure to remain immune to online trolls.
Yes. I mean, the first piece of advice I give to all housewives is don't read what people are saying on Twitter. It's so mean. And, one day they will say she's an icon, she's a queen, she's a diva. And the next day they're really just slagging you in a terrible way. So I'm pretty good. I have a wandering eye. It's a little crossed. That was the first time people online were like, look at him. He's so funny looking, whatever. So I've gone through levels of dealing with people saying terrible things about me and rumors and whatever. And I'm pretty good. I have to say, I can open Twitter and search my name before bed and scroll through it and see a bunch of horrible things and turn off the light and go to bed. I mean,
And you still do that? You will search your name?
I do it occasionally. Yeah. I also kind of like to know.
Yeah.
Also, a lot of times you can find out what other people are saying about you by doing that. It's an interesting search mechanism. Usually it's just only mean. My apartment is for sale right now. And there was a big article in the New York Times about it with a lot of photos. The pictures got picked up all over Instagram and this and that. It's like, see inside Andy's apartment. And the comments, and specifically the comments mainly from gay men, were absolutely just so mean. And I love my apartment. I spent so much time. I had an incredible decorator. We collaborated beautifully. I love it. It's breaking my heart to sell it. So
Was it mean about the decor?
Yes. Oh, terrible and mean about me and the decor. And that was a time that's surprising. I was like, whoa, this is hitting me. I thought I was immune, but I'm not.
Well, I think that speaks quite highly of you, that you're not immune.
Okay.
Because to do what you do, you need to connect and empathize. And in order to be empathetic, you need to have a skin that lets some stuff in. If you're not vulnerable, you can't connect.
Yes.
And the other thing is that what you do is such a bellwether for popular culture.
Okay.
And such a combination of high-low. And it's so brilliant at shaping how we see the world that in a way you need to be in the mix to keep abreast of it.
Right. Yes. Very true.
So basically no notes.
Yes. Thank you.
But it is a horrible feeling.
No, it's a bad feeling, but I think it's also good to be reminded, I mean, Everybody, it's interesting always sociologically to me to see what penetrates and what doesn't.
Yes. What do you think does penetrate? What's the
Well, that was just very personal because it was my apartment and it's something that meant a lot to me. I mean, I think if anyone ever said anything about my children, I've been posting about politics lately, and people, kind of MAGA people, have been coming at me and saying terrible things about the way that I had my children, and just horrible things that are, to me, unthinkable to put in print. That's something that makes me recoil.
You said earlier that you don't carry insecurity. So I'm interested in these two elements.
Well, I mean, that's when it comes out. It's not something that it's not going to sink me for the day, but it's a moment where I feel insecure. Sometimes I'll respond to one person. I usually just move on. I mean, with the thing about the apartment, I was like, dude, you're selling your dream apartment to move into your dream apartment. You're selling it for a ridiculous amount of money. Like, go cry your tears. I mean, this is what you're upset about. So I usually give myself a reality check.
Yeah. Also, as an inveterate consumer of all things Andy Cohen and all things Bravo and Hey You and all things Housewives, I did not see that.
Well,
so now
whatever.
I need to know, but now I need to go online and look at your apartment because I've read a lot. I've read a lot about
whatever.
it.
Yeah, it's fine.
Is this the one that you knocked through because you bought the one upstairs?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
It's 4 apartments combined, and it's great.
Yeah.
If you're looking in the city, all those stepkids need a place to
yes,
stay.
ABC always be closing.
Yes,
okay,
exactly.
How do you feel more generally about fame? Because the books that you wrote, many of them are consciously modeled on the Andy Warhol diaries.
Yes.
And he obviously famously said 15 minutes of fame.
Right.
How do you feel about it as a concept? Is it an interesting thing?
I think it's fascinating. I've always been fascinated by fame. And I think if Warhol were alive, he would have painted some housewives at this point, because his whole thing was making normal people famous. And I think that I remember in the very early days of the Housewives, I remember taking Vicky and Tamra and their then husbands to a restaurant in New York City called Florent, which is long closed, but was it was in the meatpacking district, which in the day was a real meatpacking district. And it was a very downtown, edgy, hip diner that I'm sure Warhol had been to, and Roy Lichtenstein, and artists and drag queens. And it was very edgy. And I thought there was something so camp about bringing Vicky and Tamra there, because I was like, this is so camp. They're famous for being real, but they're outsized, the way they look and everything. And the whole Warholian thing tracked from an early time of Housewives for me. And the Warhol Diaries to me was a pop culture time capsule from its era, that he kept the diaries. He never meant for it to be published. It's very gossipy, but I thought, well, I could do this. I'm going to the equivalent of whatever the parties were that Warhol was going to at that time. And I'm seeing all these people, and it's high and low and whatever. So those diaries for me are also meant to be a kind of a sociological look at fame in a certain moment in time.
How would you like to be remembered?
Happily, that people liked me, that they liked the shows, that I made them smile or something.
Okay, you told me I could ask you anything.
Yeah.
So I'm taking you literally.
Great.
And I'm going to put you through your Watch What Happens Live paces.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah. You can plead the fifth if you want. Okay. Shag, marry, kill.
Okay.
I know you can't do Housewives because you have to be really, so don't worry. It's not them.
Good. Okay.
John Mayer, Anderson Cooper, Madonna.
Oh, wow. I would marry John, shag Madonna, and kill Anderson.
Oh my God.
Well,
that's so hard.
I always, whenever Anderson is given in that shag, marry, kill, I always kill him.
Oh, have you had that before?
Yeah,
that's annoying.
Sorry. Well,
literally
just
that combination.
Him, not that 3 combo.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I would shag Madonna to see what all the fuss was about.
Yeah, and also you need to keep in her good books.
Yes, and John and I, we could be, I feel like we would flourish as a married couple.
Why?
I think we understand each other. We like each other. We love talking. If I could meet a gay guy that I connect with, like John, like I do with John, that would be incredible.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think a good friend is? Like, how would you describe what kind of friend you are?
Attentive, loyal, communicative, caring, fun.
Would you rather have Don't Be Tardy for the Party or Chic C'est la Vie
Don't be tardy.
played at your funeral?
Don't be tardy.
Okay. Would you rather live full-time in summer house or winter house?
Summer house.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you rather take a bath with Meredith Marks or share a bottle of Vida tequila with Lisa Barlow?
I think the bath could be an HR issue, so I would do the tequila.
Okay, well done.
Yeah.
And this is just for the delectation of Real Housewives fans who I know will be listening. I want to see if you can complete this iconic line. It's a tricky one because there's a lot of it. Tom's house was broken into.
Oh my God, I can't do this.
No.
Tom's house was broken into. Snowstorm, Pasadena. The car flipped over.
Yes.
Police were called.
Yeah.
Okay, fragments are coming.
You've done it brilliantly.
Okay.
And he confronted the burglar and then he had to go have eye surgery.
Oh, right. Oh, God.
And then my son had to go over and help. And then my son, he rolled his car 5 times on the way home. So yeah, I'm under a lot of stress.
Yes. Yes. Wow.
Andy Cohen, I love you so much. I know that everyone says that to you all of the time.
I've fallen a bit in love with you today, too.
Stop it.
Yes.
That's my dream.
You're beguiling.
Oh my God, Andy.
Yes, you are. You took me in on your journey.
I'm so pleased.
You did.
Thank you for being on How to Fail.
My pleasure.
Please do follow How to Fail to get new episodes as they land on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, or wherever you get your podcasts. Please tell all your friends. This is an Elizabeth Day and Sony Music Entertainment original podcast. Thank you so much for listening.